we're going to talk about the role of the active patient. And really what we mean by that is being really involved actively in navigating and supporting your recovery path. And in Coach Yourself Recovery Module 1 from version 2 of Secrets to Recovery, I talk quite a lot about self-responsibility and how to kind of support yourself. But Thora's got some more bits that we're going to add to that, specifically around kind of navigation.
This term that we're using, navigation and navigator, you know, I think I and we in the team very much see ourselves as we are the navigators. We know the map, we know the kind of how to get you from A to B, we know the tools and techniques, and then of course it's about adapting them to you, but actually you as the patient are the person that then takes them on board and uses them. So we are not the captain here, we are not the driver. You know, I used to do, you know, off-road rallying and I was the navigator, funnily enough, in that team, and I had a driver.
You've done some crazy things in your life.
I know, there we are. So, but yeah, so the driver was the one actually behind the wheel driving the car. I was the navigator saying, okay, turn left next and then do that and slow down and turn up and whatever it was. Yeah. And in a way, this role isn't dissimilar because in a way, the patient is the driver, you're the driver, because it's your life, it's your recovery.
There are people on Secrets to Recovery which also are having ongoing sessions in the clinic, and that's obviously a real extra support because you have that guidance and that support. But even if you don't have that, you've got this kind of huge archive of well over 100 hours of resources that remembering you need to navigate and support yourself through that process. And that's obviously very important.
So how we relate to time and how we perceive time can really affect what expectations we have of our recovery and of our experience in the everyday. And also, like you were saying, then we tend to overestimate what's possible in the short term and totally underestimate the phenomenal changes we can make over the mid to longer term.
And I think it's so tempting because, of course, you know, we have a bad day and it kind of feels like it's always going to be this way, and that bad day in our mind is a bad forever. Rather than actually it's a bad day and that day isn't going to last forever. In fact, in CBT, they talk about 3 Ps, talk about something being personal, being permanent and being pervasive. So, for example, we have a bad day and, you know, it's personal, it's happening to us. It's permanent, like I'm going to feel like this forever, and it's going to pervade every part of our life. And that's where many of the tools that we're teaching in Secrets to Recovery, from recognizing thought patterns to working EFT to the mindfulness meditations, whatever we're using, to understand that whatever's happening right now is simply happening right now.
The more you rush, the more it'll slow you down. Or if we turn it around, say, the more you slow down, the faster you'll go. It's a really fascinating paradox, particularly when it comes to recovery.
And also, it's one of the points where it's really helpful to recognise that we don't get out of a situation with the same psychology we got into it. And if we've got in by pushing, we don't get out by pushing. And that can be a real challenge to understand that actually we need to take the pressure off, and actually in doing that, things may move forward, time may change, actually more quickly and more effectively.
We want to kind of have more oomph, we want to have more momentum, particularly as you start bouncing those boundaries. And so getting a sense of, it's almost like, you know, the gears in the car, we want to be able to go up to 5th gear when that's appropriate. But if we spend the whole time in 5th gear, I mean, we'd wear out the engine pretty soon. You know, so it's about being able to go whatever gear that you feel is appropriate and is suitable to you and whatever it is that you're doing.
Absolutely. And, you know, really the key thing here we're really saying, and it's one of the key things really throughout this module, is the more you recognise this, the more awareness you have, the more you can actually see what you're doing and therefore do something different.
When the maladaptive stress response is absolutely high, the tendency of the system is to see everything as saber-toothed tigers. Even to, you know, to the extent of supplements become like the enemy of the body, or, you know, people have multiple chemical sensitivity. Any foreign thing that comes into our body is perceived as a major threat to our well-being.
Actually, people don't come to OHC, then they start on the spiral. People come already, you know, when you come to Secrets to Recovery or come as a patient at the clinic, you've already moved a certain way up that spiral. What we're looking to do, and what we're often very good at, is actually identifying whereabouts you are on that spiral, and then helping to accelerate that movement from that point.